Alright, I am in front of the camera again. So a while back I made a video called Picking Through My DVD Collection, or whatever it was called. That video I have grown to not really like anymore. I mean, if you watch it, you might kind of understand why, because it's literally just me sitting in front of my my computer, just talking about whatever, rambling. You know, there's a really, I pick out a stack of DVDs that I wanted to show off, and it gave me an excuse to talk about TV shows that I liked, but I feel like there really wasn't any rhyme or reason to it. It was all just rambling. I wanted to make it a little bit more, cohesive, quick, snappy, whatever. I'll attempt to. I'll give it a shot. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through a bunch of different DVDs for whatever reason, and bonus with that, you get really cool show recommendations. So yeah, I'll just get to it. First show that I wanted to mention was Clerks Animated. I'm pretty sure you might have seen this if you watch a lot of cartoonist YouTubers. I remember first hearing from it for Rebel Taxi. This show has 6 episodes, and this is a full collection. If you don't know about the movie Clerks, that movie basically kickstarted Kevin Smith's career. It's a very low budget, black and white movie about 2 guys working at a convenience store and shit just happens. I've seen the movie, I mean obviously I haven't, and I liked it way more than I thought I would. So the really cool thing about this show is that character designs are by a guy named Steven Silver, and he is best known for his work shows like Kim Possible and Danny Phantom. You know, his shapes and the way his hands look, and his style is very recognizable and very pleasing to the eye, and definitely has that really satisfying look to it, at least in my opinion. This is also one of the only adult productions produced by Walt Disney, by the Walt Disney TV production company. Disney Television Animation Studio, whatever. Yeah, this thing was animated on Disney property, and it is uncredited because Disney doesn't want people to know that they've made adult content. The show is a little sillier than the movie. Yeah, I do think it's really fun, really good, so definitely give this a shot if you've never watched it. If you ever get a list of obscure adult animated cartoons, guaranteed what on this list it will contain Mission Hill. Mission Hill, in my opinion, is the least obscure show, because I feel like everybody has talked about it for a good reason, because this is a really great show. It is made by a couple of people who previously produced and worked on The Simpsons. This show is also really well known for its animation style and its very highlighter, neon colored aesthetic. Very bright in your face colors. I think this makes this style so recognizable and unique. The show is mainly about 20-somethings living in New York. His main character's younger brother pretty much moves in with him, and then hijinks ensue. God damn it, I just realized I'm now older than the character, than the main characters. That's always a lovely sign. That's only gonna happen more and more as I get older. This DVD also bought on Amazon, and it's always kind of weirded me out because I never really expected it to look like this. The pictures online made me think it was a slipcase. I don't know, maybe someone will point that out. Also, the DVD logo is weird because that is not the usual DVD logo. It just says, it's like someone just typed out DVD on the side. Whatever, I mean, the menus work, it plays like normal, so who knows. I literally bought it off of Amazon, so who knows. This is the Oblongs. If you've ever watched Adult Swim, you might have seen the Oblongs. I know that it is based on a picture book with a bunch of different short stories in it by a man named Angus Oblong, and this is just a bunch of the characters from that book, made for a TV show. I remember the Oblongs a lot from when I was a kid. They aired it a lot, to the point where I didn't even realize that this whole show was only 1 season, 13 episodes. That's it. I thought it was longer than that, just from how much they aired the show. Also, the episode that I mainly remember them airing was the one about one of the Debbies fell into a wood chipper, and her face got all mangled and mutilated. If you don't know what the Oblongs is about, it's about a family of mutants living in a poor neighborhood. And of course, there's a very rich neighborhood, and there's like a bunch of popular whatever people that live, you know, above the hill and away from all the nuclear waste. And one interesting thing about this series is that the dad with no limbs, he's voiced by Will Ferrell, which I don't know why I wouldn't expect, but it definitely surprised me when I found out. The show is really good and really funny. It's also a bit of like a bleak atmosphere. It definitely gives it such a unique feeling whenever you watch it. If you've never seen Yellow Belongings, definitely check it out.
You got pretty hair.
Enjoy!
I feel like every show that I'm going to mention here has some sort of cult following, and Undergrads is no different. The show actually takes place in college, which is a surprisingly rare setting for a show. You'd expect there to be more television shows that take place in college, or maybe pieces of media in general. But yeah, there really isn't a lot out there. These four friends have been friends since they were literal babies in the lore of the show, and it just explores, you know, their adventures in college. If you've ever seen the meme of the guy holding your obviously fake ID card saying I am 21, so drinking is yes, yeah, that is from this show, Undergrads. The show has a really rich history to it. Like, the guy who is behind it, the guy who voices the main character, he's been working on this series for such a long time. If you want to know more about it, Rebel Taxi Pan Pizza made a really good video detailing the whole history of it, including the Kickstarter for the movie that was a success. So hopefully we'll see something new from Undergrads soon. The DVD cover to this is weird, and I don't know why they chose this particular image. I mean, it is a very interesting key moment in the show, but I guess it's just a weird thing to have on a cover, I guess, for DVD sales or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely a weird cover. You wouldn't have like the four main characters be on there. No, you gotta have a guy walking into a girl naked, you know, like, sure. I'd say that this next one is a little different than what we've been looking at for the rest of this video, but this is Gregory Horror Show. This DVD contains the first season. There are 4 seasons to this show. This is technically an anime. This was animated in Japan. This art style is very similar to a television show that I think aired in America, maybe Canada or whatever. It's called Piccola, the little penguin guy. Yeah, it's the same art style as this show. So basically, in this DVD at least, it takes place first person, and you're basically experiencing the show's world through the protagonist's eyes. He's walking through a forest in the middle of the night, and he doesn't know where he is. He's lost. He finds his hotel. You're invited to stay in because of their predicament. Just a bunch of weird, surreal things happen. That's one of my favorite things about this show, is how strange it is. It's not like super, like, it's not like disturbing creepy, it's not jump scare creepy, but it is weird, and it's a definitely really fun kind of horror. If you've never seen this series, I definitely recommend checking it out. I had no idea there was an American DVD of it until a couple of years ago, so I definitely jumped on it, and I found it sealed on eBay. So yeah, this DVD only has the first season. The episodes are maybe like 2-3 minutes long. It's a really fun little show. There's also a video game for it that is a Resident Evil clone. I've heard the game is good, but it was not released in America. It was only released in Japan and in PAL regions. So there is an English translation of the game, but it was never released in America, unfortunately. It's also a kind of a sought-after and valuable game, at least right now. The game is really hard to get. It's definitely something to check out if you've never heard of it before and you're interested. Alright, disclaimer. I've never actually sat and watched this show. I'm sorry, okay? But the fact that it exists is so cool and interesting to me. I just need to share and tell you about it for real. So this is Delta State. The main gist I get of the show, of the plot of the show, is that it's about a bunch of young adults who have like these telepathic powers, and they're able to enter a state of mind, obviously the Delta State. It's like a world that's different from their own, and they're all exploring it, finding out the mysteries about it, and there's a big plot that's, you know, being unfolded by them. And I do love the vibe of the show, right, of the premise, but the best thing about this show is that it's entirely rotoscoped. it took so long to make this show. Like it's crazy just the idea that this even exists. An entire TV show made for teenagers and adults that is rotoscope. Rotoscope is such an underrated animation art form that is like, it takes forever to make, I understand, but the fact that there is a TV show using it's so cool to me. It's so cool to me. Yeah, once I found out that there was a DVD of this, I jumped on it. This is the grand finale. This is like one of the most important DVDs that I own, period. Downtown. There's only 13 episodes. I think one of them didn't end up airing. So this is not a commercially released DVD. This was produced and made by the creators of the show. And this show has very rich history as well. This show was created by a man named Chris Prynowski. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Chris Prynowski. If you've never heard of him before, he is a man behind the animation studio named Titmouse.
Chirp.
So if you've ever seen this logo at the end of animated shows that you've seen, this is his first show that he made on his own. The show has a really interesting concept as the dialogue is very fluid and feels kind of improv. The show is inspired by interviews that Chris and his team would have walking down the street in New York City. And of course, a lot of the voice actors and actresses, they weren't, professional actors, they were just people. That gave this show such an immaculate vibe and enjoyment that I think is totally unmatched.
MTV presents Downtown,
An animated look at the most animated part of town.
drawn from real life.
Downtown premieres next Tuesday night at 10:30 after The Real World.
People talk a lot about today, like Bob's Burgers and Rick and Morty, about how a lot of their improvised dialogue, but this show was doing it way before them. Titmouse is responsible for shows like Motor City, Megas XLR, and Titmouse also animated for Venture Brothers, Super Jail, Randy Cunningham, and Metalocalypse. Definitely a very rich history. So many more television productions that Titmouse and Chris have worked on. It's an incredible career that all started with Downtown. So the other half of this is the DVD itself. Acquiring this DVD is something that I always tell people because it's so fascinating to me just how it happened. Found out this show existed and I wanted to know if there was any physical media for it because of course, I'm a collector. I want to buy media of a show that I like. And I did find one. I did end up seeing this. And it was a Twitter post. And it was like an old Twitter post. And I was like, hey, where did you get this? Where did you buy this? And the person ended up replying to me saying that they bought it on eBay. And so I was like, all right, fair enough. I looked on eBay. There was nothing on eBay. So I looked on Google itself. I just searched MTV Downtown DVD. What popped up was Chris Prynowski's old blogger. At that time had not been touched since 2013 or so, and there is a little sidebar at the end of the screen. Buy MTV Downtown DVD, $25. Here's my PayPal link. I remember clicking the PayPal link and it taking me to a page that was just a regular PayPal, send money page. But it was like send money to Titmouse Incorporated. I thought about it because it's a little sus. Here's a web page that has not been updated in years, but I was like, it literally just says Titmouse Incorporated. Plus $25 isn't a huge gamble. So I was like, man, if nothing's gonna happen, whatever. It is going to a cool animation company that I want to keep going and keep making more things. So nothing's really gonna be lost if I end up not getting the DVD. So I actually ended up losing hope a little bit because it wasn't until a month later that I got a shipping notification. I remember being absolutely shocked, and sure enough, here it is. It showed up. Here's the inside of it. Just two, pressed DVDs. Actually, three DVDs. Yeah, so I was super happy with it. I was like, I'm gonna treasure this forever. And I was so happy about it. And then much later, when I'm making that original DVD pics video, I try to get footage of his blog. It was down. It wasn't up anymore. I guess he had taken it down at some point between me making that video and me buying that DVD. So possibly I am probably one of the last people to have bought this DVD from him physically. I'm so honored. Yeah, what a crazy ride that was. What's even crazy is that I have no idea how long he's been selling those. When I was researching it, I remember finding forum posts from like 2007 of people buying the DVD and getting theirs. I'm just like, how long was this man selling this DVD for? I don't know. Who knows? I'm probably one of the last people to have gotten this from him, from Chris, or whoever was running that site still. You know, it was probably Chris. I'm practically done with everything that I had shown in my original video, but I wanted to show a little bit of extra ones just to make this as like a director's cut version, you know, whatever. Just some extra, like a lightning round of here's some cool DVDs that I own, cool movies or cool properties that I wanted to just share. So here's a couple things that I just wanted to throw in for extra. Here's a Russian DVD that I found that actually ended up working on one of my American DVD players. I apologize if I don't know the name of the show in English, but yeah, it worked. I just bought it just because I thought it was cool, because I think definitely like Russian media is really interesting. Dude, where's my horse? All Grown Up really isn't obscure, but really the reason why I'm showing this is because I found this brand new in a Dollar Tree. This DVD has a copyright date of 2005. It's a brand new old school Nickelodeon DVD with the advertisement in it and everything, showing off DVDs that were coming out around that time. This DVD also has the Yu-Gi-Oh! Parody episode called You Gotta Go, where Chucky gets into a Yu-Gi-Oh! Like card game, gets obsessed with it, kind of takes over his life. I didn't even find this in a thrift store. I found it in a store. It's weird to me. Drawn Together. If you've never heard of Drawn Together prior to watching this video, I apologize to be the one to introduce it to you. The premise of Drawn Together is really, really cool, really interesting. The basic rundown is it's a bunch of different characters that are a bunch of different like animation styles. So there's like a Disney princess parody, there's a Scooby-Doo parody, there's a Pokemon parody, or SpongeBob parody, superhero parody, rubber hose parody. You get it. They're all put into it's like a reality TV. They're all put into a house and they live together and they play games. Kind of like Big Brother, I guess, if you've ever seen Big Brother, the reality TV show. Very, very similar to that. Here's the thing. This show is one of the most offensive, raunchy, disgusting shows I've probably ever seen. Like, the stuff that they have joked about in this series blows my mind sometimes. Like, of course there are banned episodes, but this collection is like complete, uncensored. It gives you everything. It's basically all 3 seasons plus the really shitty movie that they made. I bought this on Amazon. Case is really flimsy and whatever, but I don't even know if I can even show this. It's like 5-6 discs drawn together is definitely a thing. Unfortunately, I will be fully honest with you, this show is a huge guilty pleasure for me. Definitely have caution when watching this, and just keep an open mind if you ever do want to give this show a shot. And the Zizzles, if you've ever seen the toy, you know, the classic 2000s toy that played music that was really popular for a bit. Yeah, they made a movie about it. This movie looks a lot like Phineas and Ferb, like the art style and stuff. A little movie that I just found in the thrift store one day and I was like, cool, there's a DVD for it. Maybe you could see the Phineas and Ferb comparisons by like the characters on there, but anyway. This is Princess Natasha. Hopefully if you see this, it gives you like a repressed memory of some kind, because that's how I felt seeing this character for the first time in years. This is a little show that aired on Cartoon Network. It's like a flash animated thing. There's a game for it, I guess. It has an AOL for Kids logo on the side. But yeah, I remember finding this on eBay for like $5 free shipping. If you've ever sold anything on eBay, you know that that's like nothing in profit. The person just wanted to get rid of it, I guess. So this is definitely a thing. It's called Adult Swim in a Box. It has a bunch of DVDs in it, a bunch of different Adult Swim shows. They're not really in there right now because they're scattered across my shelf right now. But the shows that this came with: Sea Lab 2021, Metalocalypse, Robot Chicken, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Moral Oral, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and probably the best part of the collection is a pilot DVD. So this has a lot of random Adult Swim pilots that they've made up to this point. This is a very interesting piece of media in Adult Swim history. I mean, there's a lot of Adult Swim influence like everywhere in my creative work. I love Adult Swim, so owning this is definitely a really cool piece in my collection. And I love pilots just in general. Failed animation pilots is a really cool line of media to get into. So if you ever want to have some fun and just watch some old failed pilots is definitely an interesting part of animation history, especially seeing all the failed ones, because that's all you get of that one property. So having a DVD of like failed ones is really, really good. This is father of the Pride. Saberspork made a video about it, and in his video he mentioned the DVD wouldn't work. So this DVD is weird because it doesn't come with 2 discs, it comes with one, where you have to flip the side to get the different pieces of media. Yeah, he said one side did not work for him, which is unfortunately the same thing that happened to me. If you want to know more about the show, please check out his video. This basic skinny of it is that it's based off of 2 IRL magicians that worked with a bunch of white tigers. And unfortunately, when this show came out, it was right around the same time as an unfortunate accident with the IRL versions of these 2 magicians, where one of them got severely messed up by one of his tigers, and so that's why they had to pull the plug on this weird show. I actually kind of like the show. Another really cool thing about the show is that it was animated by DreamWorks. Can you guess who makes a cameo appearance?
But let your kid know that Shrek 3 is coming out in 2006.
It's another really weird obscure adult animated cartoon that I found. It's like a video game parody. The basic gist is what if American Dad meets Wreck-It Ralph. Video game characters, and the whole plot is that when the characters grow up, they either become a main character in a video game or they become an NPC. The show also stars Patrick Warburton as the racer father. The dog is a Sonic the Hedgehog parody. There are references, things like Crash Bandicoot in this series. So definitely a weird little series to check out. This is the last thing I'm going to show, but it's a Blu-ray. It is a Space Chimps Blu-ray. Space Chimps is a very weird movie that I remember as a kid. I actually watched it in theaters. I don't remember anything about the movie. My favorite thing about this Blu-ray in particular is not that it's Space Chimps, but the fact that it has a sticker advertising that you could play it on your PlayStation 3. That's incredible. This was probably made when Blu-rays were first coming out. Luckily, I was able to take this sticker off of the shrink wrap and save it and keep it on there. An incredible piece of media history to keep, definitely. Right, so that's everything that I wanted to show. Thank you so much if you stuck around this long. I hope to do more silly little videos like this where I talk about what I'm passionate about. That's what this whole channel is about, just an outlet for myself and just to talk about weird things that I'm interested in. I hope you got a cool new show recommendation. Alright, I'll see you around. See ya.